welcome to Little Red's Do-It-Yourself No-Sew Blanket. I'm going to teach you today how to make a no-sew blanket and what to do. So, for the stuff that you need, you can go to Walmart or Joann Fabrics or Michaels. You're going to need a cutter. They sell these probably like $15. I've had mostly 2 of them. You can always get extra blades. You want to make sure they're sharp, but not really sharp. So they do sell them in a pack. So looks like this. And it's just a nice cutter where it just rolls. Then what you're going to need next, it's called a shape cut. It has numbers and also lines. So when you use the cutter, you can put it in here and it slides through. And I also will teach you how to do that. Also, another thing, so you don't cut glass or your floor, if you're going to do it on the floor or doing it on a card table, you're always going to need plywood. Kind of looks like this. Mine has a lot of marks from cutting all the stuff I do. I do a lot of blankets and sell them also, but I like to do it as a hobby. So plywood would be great to put it on any table, if you're going to do it on the floor. Just make sure you have something because it will cut through and it will cut floors. So just want to be extra cautious. Then you're also going to need fabric. What you can do is 2 yards, 3 yards, depends on how big you want. What you want to get is a nice design. This is 2 yards. So see the design? And then if you, for the back end, you're going to need one. You might want to make it match this. Could be pink, white. What I have is black. So one side is dull and one side is fuzzy. You always want to match them up to the fuzzy out. So when you get them, you just have to find the right spot where you can see this one's really bright and this one's where you can't really see it. You'll notice when you get the fabric. And then also on the edges, they have frills. So you want to cut them off. What I do, I cut them when I have everything together and it makes it easy. And it'll help when you cut for the frills of the blanket. When you cut them, and I will teach you that too. It's easy to just do it all at the end. I figured out that it was easier that way. So you just put them together. Want this side out, so this side showing. You need to turn it around so it's on the outside. So you're going to want to match them up. You can have safety pins or any little pins to keep them together. I never have. Some people do it that way. I kind of already get it really good. And you just want to match them up from edge to edge. Because you don't know if one side's bigger or smaller, so you want to match them up. And I think I might have one big side and one small side. So if you look at it when you put it together, one side's bigger and there's longer, so you want to do that. It's easier to match it up and not just like, oh, it fits, and then go at it and then you messed up. So it just kind of helps you. And sometimes they have a little bit extra. So I have just a little bit extra right here. It's okay, because when you stretch it out and you pull it, you might need it. So Make sure you have it all lined up. Make sure you have your board. The cutters do have a safety thing. So if kids come around, you just put the safety on and they won't get hurt. And also, you're going to need some scissors if you want to do the frill that way. I'll show you the way I do it. I thought it was easier that way instead of doing the scissors after the frills. So I'll show you that too. Alright, so I have it matched up. Pretty good. You know, when it stretches, you can go back on it. When it's on the table, on the board, you can stretch it out. You can pat it out. Whichever way makes it easier for you. So, on each corner of the blanket, you're going to want to size each of them to make like a little square. It depends on how big you want the frills, how small. I usually do about 4x4 or 5x5. Just depends on what you want to do. So, now, I have to move you guys. Okay. Now, I'm going to get my board. And get the blanket. And I'm going to be doing it all over again, so it just shows you. Let me back it up for you. You know how I'll just spread it out real nice. Like that. And so it'll just keep a while because it moves around, and being fleece fabric, it does want to do its own little thing. Because you want to get both corners nicely together. This is why some people use safety pins just to keep it together. I usually get 2 blankets done a day. So if some people do like a little bit and they have to go to work or kids, then, you know, safety pins will keep it intact, so when you come back, it's not moved and you got to do this all over again. But I'm just showing you how to do it. So now that's there. You want to get your board. And sometimes you got to flip it over, find out which one's which. Just depends on how you want to do it. Alright. So, you want to put where it has 0, and there's 0 right on the thing, you'll see it. And you want to line it up, because when you cut, you don't want it to be jagged. So you want to have one line matching the bottom, and then the other line matching the side. And yeah, sometimes it'll be uneven, and that happens. Just want to keep on trying to size it up, make sure everything is exactly where you can cut it and be good. Okay, so I have it sized up. Now, you want to get your cutter, and I have my safety on, and what I want to do, let's do 5x5. So, on the bottom, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you want to start there, and you're going to go into the hole, and you're going to cut up, and you want to go, there's a 0, so I guess this would be, yeah, this would be 0. So it'd be 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it'll be 7. So I'm going to go start on the bottom at 7. And then I'm going to stop at 5 on the side. So it'll be 5x5, and it'll be a square. Then I'm going to turn it, make sure. So you want to make sure this line, that what is the 5, it'll help you when you put it up on the thing. And you want to have it at 0, because if you don't, then you'll really mess up and it wouldn't be nice. So my line is lined up. So I go to 5, so it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to go from that hole and go all the way to 7, where it would be 5 by 5. Sometimes it, it won't cut. You have to go over it. It's fine. Then there's my 5 by 5 square. So you want to do it on every corner, but you can do each corner. Like I'll have this one, and then you can do the frills down to here and do that, and you'll have the frills down to here and do that. So now that's done. Now you can move it on the board and start getting started. So it depends on which side you want to do. There's one side with the frills that it's extra, and there's some that not. I'm gonna do the side with the frills. And when I was talking about you can get the frills off before or after. So what I do, I can take this if I want to do like the frill net or the little designs that you'll see when you get the fabric. You can take it off and then figure it out there. I'm going to show you what I do. Might be easier for you guys, but I will see where the little design is. Like I said, you'll notice when you get your fabric. And there's a little line, and I'm just going to go like this. And it's just easier. Some people cut it off before they match the fabric up. Just thought this would be easier. So now I got the fabric cut off. So now I can do lines. So you have little cutter. You can do what you like with it. I'm going to move this around. So, just easier this way. And you're going to match up the 0. Make sure all the lines are correctly straight. Make sure the bottom of the black is right on the spot. So you're going to use where that box was, the gap. So you got this box that you just cut off. And you're going to line the line up. Make sure all the lines are correctly lined up. Then you're going to get this. And it'll say like 0, then there's a little spot, and then 1. You want to get the numbers because the ones between are just halves. So now, see at the end this says 12, so now I'm going to go to 11. And I'm going to go all the way up to 5. And I said you can do 5 or 4. Just depends on how you want the frills. I'm going to cut mine at the end. And I'll show you how I do that. So there's 2 different ways, and I will show you 2 different ways how you would do it. I just thought, the way I wanted to do it was just easier. And you see how I'm cutting and my board is underneath. Sometimes when you're bored, you have so many cuts, you don't want splinters to be in your fabric. So after a couple times of using your board, just make sure you sand it. So, alright. Now you have your ties. And what you want to do is take the bottom and take the top and just make a knot. Just like this. So it's really simple. And sometimes, they're stuck, the little frills stayed on it. So just remember you can use the cutter. So just like this, they're stuck, but I can pull them off. Sometimes the cutter won't cut them all. If you have a dull one, I haven't changed mine, but sometimes different brands, you're gonna have to change them a lot, make them sharper, but it's doing pretty good. So these frails are really long. So you want to do at the end, you can do it when all the frails are done and the blanket's almost finished, and then at the end you can sit down and cut every single little frail. I feel like that takes up more time, but I'm just going to show you 2 ways you can do it. So you just make a knot. So you double tie. You just tie and tie. And you want to go back on it and pull it. Just gives it enough oomph. And just make sure you keep the ties in your hand, because you don't want to just tie and move on, or like, one of your children comes up to you or phone rings, it could be mixed up with the other frills. So now I have to go get scissors. Alright, so I got a pair of scissors. They're really sharp, and I'll show you here where you go up to it. You're like, oh, this is too long. I want to go right there. So now they're really, really short. So here's where one I didn't cut, and then the short ones. Big difference. And then also to match them up, you just want to go back and match them up so they're at the same. Because you don't want any long or any short. So, and you can do this at the end. But I'll also show you my little trick I do. Just makes it go faster. And plus you don't have like all these little tiny little blocks as well. So I just line them up and cut. And you don't want to go fast, like, oh, I can go really fast. She said she can do it in 2 blankets in 1 day. I've been doing this for years, possibly 3 years. So don't think, I've been doing this for like a week and that's how fast I am. You want to take your time, because if you want it for yourself, okay, if you mess up because you went too fast or anything that could happen, then it's yours. But if you want to do this as a hobby and sell and make it for Christmas or anything, you want to take your time. So, alright. Now I'll show you the way I like to. So let me get rid of these frill bottom. And remember, you'll see what I'm talking about when you get your fabric. Like, you can do 2 yards or 3 yards. Okay. So you want to match them up. Keep on matching everything so it's not off. Sometimes it'll move. You just gotta make sure there's no wrinkles or anything, like if it's tied together and you have a big gap inside, it's because you didn't get them lined up and something happens. Just make sure you go on it. Keep on making sure there's perfectly fine. So see what I mean by some of it didn't cut. Just go back slightly over, and there you go. So what I was talking about, how I have it easy, is so these frills are this short. So I'll take this. So I want to cut it right there. So what I do is I just cut how short I want it. If you want to go over it, it's fine too. So that's how I cut it. So at the end, I don't have to sit back and cut every single one. So that's just a little bit easy. And that's how you do that. So now that I cut it, it's putting me now at 3. Because I cut just the bottom to make short frills. So I have 2 of these, like I said. This one goes doll. I'll go to the next one. Always has safety on it. This one's called Friscars, and this is a Westcott titanium. And if you get refills, they do tell you how to change them. So now I'm just going up to here and going to 3. So now it's a shorter cut instead of 0 to 5. So always start at 0 and always go on the lines so it all matches, so you don't have one long one and one short one. The pre-packages at Joann Fabric, some of them already have lines. So if you want to start with that, where they already have lines, more power to you. Some of them don't have these nice fabrics, and you want to make your own. Let's say you want to make your husband, boyfriend, or any family member a NFL blanket. They don't have that as a pre-cut, so you would have to order your own. And now they're the same length. My thing is, I'm doing this while I house sit. So you can do this in your own home, or if you're babysitting and the kids are asleep, you can do this. If you're doing like I am, I'm house sitting while people are out of town and I'm taking care of their house and their animals. I'm just doing this. I'm not one to watch TV. I read books or do these. I also make other stuff. So just helps while, you need something to do and something for a change. Now just stretch, make sure it's fine, and repeat. So again, just want to make sure your lines are fit. Push out any of the other fabric out. And just remember, every time you go to each side, you're just going to push it out, so don't worry that it's all wrinkled on the bottom or anything. Just make sure it's not where you're working at on the section. So I'm coming up back to where I had the frill and where I cut off the edge. So at the end, I don't have to sit back and deal with the fringes. Like I said, you're going to have little things. Also, with the fringes, since, I cut them and it's supposed to be 5 by 5, at the end, you want to do your box again. So here we are. So sometimes if you want, you can just go to here also. To make sure. So here's that. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's my 5. I'm going to go up the 5. I'm going to turn it. Find the 5. And the line. Make sure it's even, straight. So 5 and 5. So 5 straight. Line on the 5 is here. So you just go to 0. So just go back, and like I said, you're going to have little things. And since I have, there we go, so there's the fringe. And I have extra at the end, you can cut it off because you know it's going to be extra. And now, just back to the end. And here we go again. So, put it up. And matching. And move this so it doesn't tip. And you can put a lot of pressure on the cut. If your cutter is dull, probably be a good thing, but if it's not, probably don't even have to put a lot of pressure on it. And then if it's close to the end, just make sure that. Since I got like a little extra, you can take off if you think you need to. You won't mind if you just want to keep them even, going, okay, that was just a little bit too much. So at the end, I'll show you how easy it is to start another side. So you can do the tie, where you just one tie and two tie to make a knot. Sometimes other people would wind it and do a knot like that. So it's only, your preference, what you like. Just want to stretch it out. Now you're going to be flipping. Just make sure it comes down. And this is when people use their bobby pins or safety pins. If you just do the board, all you have to do is just flip it. And now you just start this. So since there's extra, I'm just going to cut it off. So you just want to make sure everything is straight. Everything's on the board. So I'm going to come over here and get rid of the extra. So you don't, accidentally count the extra as part of the tie. So there we go. So now again, back to the beginning. And since I'm cutting, so just going to be cutting a little bit off the frills. So at the end I don't have to cut them. Just cut a little bit off. And now, repeat. And just make sure, the other frills aren't in the way that you accidentally cut them to. That wouldn't be good. You saw that I, moved the little board. Just keep the cutter in the same spot. Don't cut when you're moving it back. And just slide it back and go back to the same spot and keep on going. Just want to make sure. And that one. And you'll see the cuts. Because right here you can see at the opening spot. So here's the corner. For you. So it's a corner and a corner, and you just tie. There you go. And now you just on a roll. Some sides of the fabric is easy to pull, and some sides are tight. So don't get upset if you're like, the side's tight. What do I do? Yes. So since this side's tight, means the other side, opposite side, would be tight too. And this side is easy and pulls, so the opposite of them is going to be that way as well. So don't freak out that you did something or got the wrong fabric. It's normal. Just remember to double, not single knot. Just remember just the pull, so they're not all clammed up together. It just stretches it out. So when you hear the little stretch, don't worry. It's just stretching it out. It's just like when you get a new shirt, you want to stretch it out. So see how it's all clammed up? Stretch it out. And it's got a little oomph, so you can go back to time.